Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm coming to you with a little bit of late news. The Oscar nominations were a couple weeks ago, and usually I would do my ranking of all the Best Picture nominees. But this time there was a movie that I hadn't seen, and that was The Father. It was not out in theaters anywhere near me, and I probably wouldn't go to a theater anyways. But it did become available for digital this past weekend, and I checked it out. So I'm now ready to rank these 8 movies, and sort of like the nominees from 2020, a really solid year. I liked all these movies for the most part, some definitely more than others. But yeah, very interesting lineup of movies and some real surprises in here. So let's just jump into it. At number 8, I have Mank, directed by David Fincher. And whenever I said that I enjoyed these movies for the most part, I don't really like Mank that much. Like, I really don't. In retrospect, it's been months since I've seen it. I had no desire to watch it again. But just because you didn't like or enjoy the movie while you was watching it doesn't mean you can't appreciate elements about it. I think that it's a technically magnificently made movie. It's kind of a boring movie. There's not a lot going on in terms of plot. Sure, there's a lot of dialogue, but there's just nothing in it that really pulls me in. There's nothing in it emotionally either that pulls me in. There may be some strong characterization here and there, but I necessarily don't care about what these characters are doing. And I thought the most interesting element of the movie was the political aspect of it. I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, definitely my least favorite out of these 8. And I love David Fincher. This is probably my least favorite David Fincher movie, not counting Alien 3. And even then, like, I would rather watch Alien 3. So yeah, sorry if you're a big Mank fan. Didn't love it. At number 7, I have The Trial of the Chicago 7, and I think that this is like quite a drop off from 7 to 8 for me personally, because I actually really like The Trial of the Chicago 7. I've only watched it the one time when it came out this past summer, but I really enjoyed watching it. When it comes to courtroom dramas, they can get a little bit monotonous and repetitive, but I was always pulled in with this. I like this cast of characters. There were some real like oddballs in here, and some really smart writing, which is expected with Aaron Sorkin. A lot of great dialogue, some really good humor throughout the movie, and some pretty poignant elements in terms of the content, and some parallels between then and now. And the reason why it's so low on my list, because it didn't really have a lasting impact for me compared to some of these other movies, but I still greatly enjoyed it as I watched it. Just haven't checked it out that second time. Usually if I really love a movie, I'll feel compelled to watch it a second time, probably in that same week. And this one I just didn't. Still really good. At number 6, I have Judas and the Black Messiah. Probably one of the best trailers that out of all these movies, and a really good movie. Daniel Kaluuya delivers arguably his strongest performance. It's either between this and Get Out, but I'd say this actually tops his performance in Get Out. Just completely transforms himself, doing a role that I've never seen from him before. And Lakeith Stanfield getting the surprise Best Supporting Actor nominee. Also really cool considering how good he was. This is a really solid movie about something that I personally didn't really know about. I didn't really know this guy, this character. I didn't know his story, and now that I've seen the movie, I found it pretty fascinating. And yeah, it was good. It was good. It didn't. I don't think that it all came together in a sense. I think there were some parts that felt a little not as fleshed out as they maybe should, especially with the Jesse Plemons character and stuff. Some of that was just not that well fleshed out, but still a really good movie, pretty compelling, and definitely a downer. Ended up pretty depressing. At number 6, I have Nomadland. Speaking of depressing, this is probably the front runner to win Best Picture this year, and Nomadland is undeniably fascinating. It has this really interesting element where the supporting cast is made up of people that probably aren't necessarily actors. just regular everyday people that you haven't seen in movies or TV shows. And that brings an authenticity to the movie that is lacking in a lot of movies that you see. This just felt real. Despite it not necessarily having much of a story, it was more so about this woman's journey and just surrounding her with these pieces of life that definitely feel real, and that definitely adds to the emotion and the overall themes of the movie. Nomadland is very good. It's a beautiful movie to look at. I think by the end it didn't affect me as strong emotionally as maybe I expected it to, but it still had some pretty strong elements in the emotion. And obviously Frances McDormand, she delivers every time. Would not be surprised if she won Best Actress. So yeah, this is good. It wasn't my favorite out of all these, but still very good. At number 4 I have Sound of Metal, which is sort of a surprise nominee. It's definitely one of the smaller movies. It definitely feels maybe the most indie out of all these movies. But yeah, I watched this movie back when it came out on Prime, and there's a reoccurring theme with almost all these movies, is that they are all pretty depressing. They are all pretty depressing, and this is no exception. I mean, just watching a movie about a guy basically losing his hearing, even though he is a musician and that is his life, that's why he is known. And whenever you can't hear anymore, that definitely puts some hurdles in your way, and you gotta find a way to jump over those. This is a story that we really don't see much in Hollywood, and it was interesting to see this perspective that, yet again, we don't really see. Riz Ahmed, amazing performance, totally deserving of the Best Actor nominee. Yeah, I love this movie. It's not something that I've really jumped back into wanting to watch again, because I did find it to be like super depressing. As a musician, this is a nightmare for me. But as I was watching it, I was like marveled at some of the technical aspects, especially with the sound, demonstrating how people that can't hear like what goes on inside of their ears, and especially post-surgery and all that other stuff. It was definitely interesting, and I would love to see this get the best sound at the Oscars. That would be awesome, because I don't think it'll win anything else, and I think it's deserving of sound at least. At number 3 I have The Father, which is the newest movie that I've seen out of all these, this movie's picking up a lot of steam. Got a lot of Oscar nominations, and I know that this was a lot of people's favorite movie of this past year, I believe. This was Chris Stuckman's #1 movie of 2020, and I can't fault him. The Father, it was totally unlike anything that I was expecting from it. I went into this movie cold, didn't watch a trailer, and I didn't expect it to be so artistic and daring in terms of its narrative. We have seen movies about people with dementia or even Alzheimer's, but we rarely see it through their perspective. This movie plays with time. At times, like, we don't know how much time has passed, and we don't know exactly what is reality. We basically see things through Anthony Hopkins, and what's going on there is dementia, and it is very sad. It is very, very heartbreaking, dizzying. I'd say even pretty scary at times. It's not a horror movie, but the subject matter here is horrific, and I think the movie, through its artful manner of approaching this, can feel pretty horrific at times, and I didn't expect that. Thank God the movie is relatively short. It's like 95 minutes, because if it was any longer, I don't know if the audience could take all that in, because it ends at a pretty emotional place. If this won Best Picture, I'd have no problems. This was one of the best movies of 2020. I loved it. At number 2, I have Promising Young Woman, which is a movie that the first time I watched it, I might have had some problems with, but then I went back and watched it the very next day, and it's a movie that has stuck with me ever since. Like, I just really love this movie, recognizing the flaws and all. I just really loved it. I loved the artistic direction, I loved the acting, I loved the humor, I loved the message, I loved some of the music that was used in it. I just thought it was a really, really good movie. And out of all these movies, it tells the best story from beginning to end, I think. A lot of these movies more so rely on mood and characters and stuff like that, rather than telling a story from point A to point Z. this does that. This isn't a traditional Best Picture nominee. I believe that if this would have came out back when it was initially going to come out, which was like spring of 2020, it probably wouldn't have got nominated for Best Picture. But the pandemic happened and it came out in December. And this really helped it pick up some steam, and it got all these nominations, and Carey Mulligan is incredible in this movie, and I think that she probably deserves the Best Actress win. That would be awesome if she won. Of course, Frances McDormand, how can you argue that? But yeah, Promising Young Woman, it has stuck with me. I think that it is excellent. I thought that it was sad. It goes in directions that maybe you don't expect. I think that for a movie that goes in so many directions that you don't expect, it sets you up early on by going in directions that you totally expect. So whenever it does go inside that direction, that's like, whoa, what was that? It really catches you off guard, and I know that a lot of people aren't down with it. A lot of people really don't like the last like 10 to 15 minutes. But I thought it was really brave. Like, I really did. I thought it was very daring. And yet again, a movie that you usually don't see nominated for Best Picture. And at number 1, I have, of course, Minari. I love this movie. It really caught me off guard. I didn't even expect to watch it the day that I watched it. I just went out on a limb. I was like, okay, let's see if we can watch Minari today. Yes, let's watch Minari. And I was just captivated from beginning to end. It's the kind of movie where I just kind of felt like crying throughout the entire movie. And that's not to say that it's just a depressing, sad movie from beginning to end. It's one of those mood movies that really catches you. A big part of that is the music, which I'm very glad got nominated for Best Original Score. The music in this movie is incredible, like seriously, and the performances are so good and relatable. Like, this whole movie is just totally relatable to me, even though it lacks yet again in story. The characterization and the dynamic between these characters, especially the grandmother and the son of the family, is just, it's adorable, but also very, very sad, and I think pretty important. This tells the story of the American dream in a way that, you know, usually don't succeed this well in terms of the way that it's told. I think this movie's amazing. I really wanted to win Best Picture, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But yet again, thought it was amazing, like a beautiful piece of work here. I'd literally recommend this movie to anyone. That's how good I think that this movie is. So yeah, that is my ranking of the 8 Best Picture nominees this year. What's your ranking? Did you agree with my ranking? Did you not? Please let me know in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching.